Welcome to the show. This is No Interference. We are your host, Westside, Big Sass, and the Bull. We are still in the frenzy of NFL free agency, so today we're just going to be chit-chatting about what's going on, some of the signings, moves we like, moves we don't like. So, yeah, that's about it today. I guess because we were just talking about it before we went on, Marcus Mariota going to the Eagles to be there to back up in place of Gardner Minshew. I know we talked about it a little bit. I like it. I think he fills a spot. Definitely was needed. Got to have a backup anytime. Well, really, anytime you have Super Bowl aspirations, if you don't have a valid backup, that's a little bit of a risk. Look at the Chiefs all these years with Chad Henne. Anytime they needed him, they have needed him. He's kind of come up and done good for him. Can't think of another situation, but like the Bills, if Josh Allen goes down, the Bills are kind of screwed.
Yeah, same with the Dolphins with the Tua. This is why they signed Mike White to a decent contract to be backup. Taylor Heineke got $10 million a year to be a backup. Seems like the backup quarterback position, the value people are starting to recognize. Like you said, quarterback goes down in the middle of a playoff game. What are you going to do? Give up?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to have a solid backup quarterback, and the Eagles have always seemed to pay a little bit extra to have a solid backup. They've been unlucky with quarterbacks and injuries too, but Hurts has been reliable, but he has missed at least a game or two his first 2 seasons as a starter. And last year, especially with Gardner Minshew coming in and near the end of the season, played decent against the Cowboys, but that was a high-scoring game. Can't really fault him there, even though he had a few costly turnovers. Then against the Saints, he was just terrible, and that put us in a tough position to have to start Hurts the last game of the season against the Giants when he probably wasn't ready to come back. So having a guy like Marcus Mariota, who has a little bit of history with the Eagles, that's not really history, going back to the Chip Kelly days. Any Eagles fan that's a real Eagles fan probably wanted Marcus Mariota back then. So it's kind of come full circle for us to finally get Marcus Mariota on the team. And I think he has the mobility that Hurts has. So I think compared to Gardner Minshew, Mariota can come in and fill in for Hurts probably more. He can run the offense better than Gardner Minshew could, and it will be a more smooth transaction for the offense as a whole. So I like the signing. I'm fine with them paying a little bit extra for that.
Yep. I guess the big news right now, because we're all still waiting to see what happens with Lamar Jackson, and I don't know, I feel like we've talked at length about this, but the Aaron Rodgers to the Jets story keeps getting talked about. This week it came out that Aaron Rodgers had made his demands. If the Jets wanted him, he was going to have to bring in Allen Lazard, Randall Cobb, Mercedes Lewis, and potentially Odell Beckham, and they picked up Lazard.
He denied that, right?
Yeah, he denied the list.
I mean,
he was like, I didn't give him a list of people to sign. I just gave him a list of people I like.
Yeah,
what's the difference?
Yeah. Well, yeah. The way he said it was like, did I talk to them about some players I've played with over my career? I've really enjoyed playing with.
Hey, I really like Allen Lazard.
But if the Jets, I guarantee it was probably like, we're gonna go after Lazard to get him to come here, and it got turned into like, we're gonna go after Aaron Rodgers, all of his picks or whatever, yada yada yada. But think about it, as the Jets, it doesn't hurt their situation any by signing Lazard. For one, he's a good receiver anyway.
Well, I heard that they might. I heard that.
Go ahead. Well, for Allen Lazard, like the Jets, their defense is good, but they're going to be given. They're going to be paying Rodgers' contract if he comes. That's a sizable contract. But they gave Lazard 4 years, $44 million. I don't know. I know the salary cap is like shooting up, but I feel like that's a little rich, especially when you look into his numbers.
You know the agent was like, "You want Aaron Rodgers? You're gonna have to pay a little
But
bit extra."
yeah, but like, okay, take out his rookie year because he literally only had one catch. His second year in the league, he goes 35 catches for 470 and 3 touchdowns. Third year in the league, he goes 33 catches for 450 and 3 touchdowns. Fourth year, he goes 40 catches, 508 touchdowns. And then last year is his best year. He played 15 games, gets 60 catches, goes for 780 and 6 touchdowns. I mean, he is a big
Adams
body.
was the key, the only person that got the ball though when he was in Green Bay.
I mean, well, Devontae Adams wasn't there last year, and he still had like a non-spectacular year. I mean, is it going to change? He's going to have the same quarterback thrown to him,
but plus Garrett Wilson and a lot more options at wide receiver.
So why are you giving him $11 million a year then?
Because Corey Davis is ass, and you got to replace him. Then you got hopefully Elijah Moore's probably going too.
Corey Davis hasn't been terrible.
I mean, what if I told you Corey Davis's numbers have been like basically the same?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But Corey Davis is also 4 or 5 years older, so move on.
Well, isn't there rumors that they still are looking to move Elijah Moore possibly?
I mean, if I was Elijah Moore, I wouldn't be in New York at all after what happened last year.
Yeah, that's
what
I thought.
It's the same front office, same coach, same everything. He wasn't getting any targets. He's a great receiver. Move on.
So
I feel like
plenty of all season for something.
I feel like the Jets are fixing to basically just copy what the Packers did last year, which wasn't that good. They're going to have Allen Lazard, Randall Cobb, and instead of Christian Watson, they're going to have Garrett Wilson.
The Randall Cobb thing is stupid.
Garrett Wilson was offensive rookie of the year compared to Christian Watson.
Yeah, but Christian Watson did get a lot of touchdowns.
2/3 of a season to even catch a ball.
Yeah.
The Randall Cobb part's stupid.
It was nice to see Watson actually, look like he got his confidence back, because that first drop for a touchdown was
yeah. I don't, like you were saying, Tur, I don't get the Randall Cobb. In fact,
32, he's only had over 800 yards once since 2015.
That's straight
and that was with
nepotism on
Dallas.
Cobb.
And then other than that, yeah, I mean,
for Rodgers, and then Mercedes Lewis is literally 40.
I like Mercedes Lewis because he actually is like, he can be useful outside of receiving because he's like probably the best blocking. I don't know if he is anymore, but it was like
maybe
one of the best blocking tight ends.
Yeah, he's basically an extra left tackle out there.
Yeah.
I guess if you're the Jets and their owner apparently is desperate, they have a playoff defense. Like, their defense is legit. Breece Hall was what? Are you hands up?
I have a thing I want to say. I was waiting for you to finish. I was just like, these are my alerts.
Jazz
like,
hands.
I got something to say.
Jazz hands. Okay, they have a playoff defense. They got Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson. I guess you're saying, hey, Rodgers, we don't even need you to be great. We really don't even need you to be good. We need you to make 5-6 throws a game. Wilson. But I mean, what are they paying them? Like $60 million just to do that? But if they get to the playoffs, I guess it is all worth it.
And they won a Super Bowl. There it is.
All right. So
the Rams.
What are they probably going to have to give up for Aaron Rodgers? What do we think?
Well, the Packers already said they're not looking for 2 firsts. So
yeah, I don't think it's that much.
It could be a first and probably a solid player and maybe another mid to late round pick.
Okay, and then you figure to get Aaron Rodgers for 2 years.
He's 39. He's also still contemplating retirement every year too.
So if you're the Jets and you have to give up something to get a 39-year-old quarterback who, has to go into complete darkness to decide if he doesn't want to retire or not, at a retreat, why wouldn't you just do something like pay Lamar Jackson.
That's what I've been thinking this entire time.
Yeah, I would definitely take
What's
Lamar
up with the
over
unless
Rodgers
Lamar
situation.
has already told the Jets, I don't want to play for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I
at the
don't
same
get
time,
it.
though, the Ravens can still match any offer the Jets send, and there's no guarantee Lamar ends up on a Jet.
The Jets have the cap room to put an offer that the Ravens can't match. But
I mean,
but Lamar still has to agree. Like,
if Lamar, it sounds like Lamar's not getting like offers he wants.
He
Because
tweeted
everybody.
he tweeted
Go
he
ahead.
got it was Wednesday.
3 years,
Wednesday.
133.
Yeah, whatever about the agent, yada yada, and I mean that's not exactly what I thought he wanted, like a long-term deal, fully guaranteed. So it's still not exactly what he originally wanted, but yeah, it's fully guaranteed. I mean,
Yeah, it seems like he wants a little bit. He wants the long term.
I'm sure the Ravens would match the 3-year 133 fully guaranteed. It's
Yeah, I
not
don't
the
know.
super mega contract that everybody's expecting was originally.
This whole thing's just really weird to me because when has there ever been a player, a quarterback in his prime, 2 years removed from an MVP? Sure, he's had injuries the last 2 years, but I think contract had a little bit more to do with him not playing than injuries than
But yeah,
what would
last
be
year.
let on. And all these teams already said no, we don't want to sign him. So is he still asking teams for ludicrous? Does he just not want to play? Like he's like, I need $500 million guaranteed, or I'm not playing. Is he doing stuff like that? Obviously not that much. Or do teams not want to give up picks for him if they sign him? Or I don't know. It's just weird.
yeah, and again,
If you're the Jets and you sign Lamar Jackson, and he's healthy, you're a Super Bowl contender immediately for years.
Yep. My thing is, and I'm whatever. If you want to represent yourself or have a family member represent you, you don't want to age it. You want to save that 10% or whatever. Go for it. But like, we know nothing. Like, no one. And apparently, I think part of the issue is no one knows like what he wants. There's like, if he had an agent, like I feel like we would have a vibe of like Lamar wants this deal, 2 years, 260, 180, fully guaranteed or whatever. And a team like, do teams have Lamar's mom's phone number to call her and say, "Hey, we want to talk about a deal"?
Yeah,
I guess they would have to. Or his number.
But I mean, if he has an agent, the agents know everybody. Like they were saying how at the combine, behind the scenes, it's all agents just going around talking to GMs and scouts and owners. His mom wasn't at the combine walking around talking for him. He didn't have a representative there.
and it's not even that. Like they're like, I'm sure there's like they have sources. They have, they know when to release information, when not to release information regarding their player.
Yeah, because they're professional.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like, what is somebody who has no connection to the NFL going to do?
And then that
send a
story,
letter?
that story that
Strong
the NFLPA is like
Dear
doing all they
Mr.
can.
NFL.
You never.
The
Dear
story
Stan,
that the
you never wrote me
NFLPA
back.
is doing all they can to help him out in the process. I honestly think that's hurting him because the NFLPA will say, "Hey, we were looking out for you. We want to help you." That's not necessarily true. The NFLPA is looking out for the NFLPA. They want Lamar to sign a mega deal so that the rest of the players can get similarly paid. They want him to get a guaranteed contract so they have more players getting guaranteed contracts and they can get that going. But that might end up hurting him in the long run.
The sacred words of fully guaranteed will haunt you for eternity.
Like with the 3-year 130 fully guaranteed, I'm fine with that. That's basically the Kirk Cousins deal 5 years later. Like, okay, Kirk Cousins was 3 years 85 fully guaranteed. I'll give Lamar 5 years later 3 years 130 guaranteed or whatever. But is that what he said he wanted, or is that what he said he was getting?
I think the original he was offered
more
that.
years. Yeah, that was the offer.
He said he was offered.
He tweeted,
I
need an agent, but just got offered this. Oh, but I still need an agent.
Yeah, he was cryptic because he said,
well, if
he
that's
said
what,
something like that. But
that makes it sound like
130.
That makes it sound like so was he happy about it, or why? Like if he doesn't need an agent and that's the deal he wanted, why isn't he signed?
That was definitely for the haters. That was a tweet for the haters.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if he's bragging, I don't need an agent. I just
no. I think he was saying he didn't. Now I'm confused because you're right.
You know, if he's saying, "Hey, dum-dums, I don't need an agent. Look at the deal I got." Well, why didn't he sign it? On the flip side, if he's saying, "Look at this crap deal I got," then he's proven the haters right.
Yeah. I think, especially this younger generation, everything goes on social media, even if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
That could be it too.
Just the flex. Everybody loves the flex. Get the clout.
Speaking of social media, why do people still think they can tweet something and then delete it and it's gone?
Like screenshots on a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Idiots.
Players still do that. Anyways. Yeah, the Lamar Jackson thing is just crazy. It's crazy that it's been going on this long. If it's going to turn out to be like, when does it ever work out for a player to sit out? Like if he's really going to go to that extreme and sit out for a year on a tag.
I can't think of anything right away.
He might not ever play in the NFL if he's going to stand pat at what he wants in a fully guaranteed contract and no teams are giving it to you now. Like, you're going to have to wait until Deshaun Watson's contract's up and then get it from the Browns.
Like, so I hear a lot of people going,
for the Browns,
it's not fair to deal. I keep hearing it's mostly players are tweeting out, this isn't fair to Lamar, the NFL is colluding against him. I mean, it's not all like, black and white. There is a gray area. Like if you are the owners and he's trying to make a stand and the owners collectively go, we're not doing this anymore. No one's getting guaranteed contracts. You're not dictating what we do. We're the owners. And they, kind of blackball him out of the league. I don't think the owners would care. It proves their point. And it'll be a story we talk about 10 years from now. Yeah, it'll be like 10 years now. We'll be like, man, I can't remember Lamar. He was so good, but, he basically died on his cross trying to get his deal. And you know what could have been.
Yep.
Yeah. And the NFL definitely doesn't want what's going on like the NBA. The NBA is a players league and it's not always bad that that's the case. Players get as much money as they can. They're obviously the entertainment. They're the ones bringing in the big dollars, but a lot of people say the NBA is not that good nowadays. People don't like the talents like misconstrued across the league. That's probably not the right word for it.
Too much scoring out of defense.
Yeah, it's unbalanced. Players, these guys are my buddies. I want to play with them, but you're not really like there's people that know how to set up teams and know how to coach and like you've seen LeBron put together like teams that just don't work. And because he wants to play with people he likes that are like old too. And I mean, like if the NFL turns into that, it's just impossible because it's not 5 people playing on a basketball court. It's, 11 versus 11, 52-man roster. It's never going to be like that. And I'm not saying, I don't know, like you said, Taylor, I agree with you. Like, I don't think it's really the Cleveland Browns' fault that this whole thing happened.
Yeah, the Browns are like Netflix. Everybody gets a show.
I know that the contract's a little bit, it's not exactly what people say it is because I read also that the Browns, Deshaun Watson has no choice how they restructure his contract. I don't know how valid that is, but I read it. I wish I could remember where I read it. But they said Deshaun Watson's willing to restructure his contract. Apparently he doesn't have a choice. So they cleared like $30 million in cap this year by restructuring his contract. So they're just, if they can just move money wherever they want, you're like, oh, well, your contract says you get paid $50 million this year, but we're going to move that back, spread it out a couple years later. That's a lot different than just like, it's still fully guaranteed. We've talked about it before.
Cake and eat it too. It's like you get your full guaranteed contract, but we're going to put all these stipulations in. We control whatever we want in this contract. We can move anything around, do whatever.
And like, I'm fine saying the Browns are dumb. They kind of gave him a bad deal. But on the flip side, I'll say the Browns were desperate for a franchise quarterback after they decided Baker wasn't good enough. And Deshaun told him, I will not sign with you unless you give me this deal. And the Browns said, well, what about this? And he said, I'll take it.
Because I'm a diddler and I need to take whatever I can get.
Well, he apparently was going to go to Carolina for less money, but the Browns gave him the better deal. So, hey, if you're a player and a team says, we'll pay you whatever to get you, go for it. Go get it. But apparently Lamar, no one's given him that option.
Yeah, it's just the whole thing's weird. I'm ready for it to be over.
Yeah. That and the Rodgers thing, honestly.
The what?
Rodgers.
Yeah.
Oh, Rodgers. Yeah. Well, Rodgers is.
Yeah. What's up with these darkness retreats? Is this where he went and started doing peyote and shit and tripping balls? And he had 100 people touch him at one time.
You go into the Shire and you get in a hole and it's darkness, but apparently it's like luxury darkness. It's not like I don't know. It's
it's like a sensory deprivation type of thing or something.
Not the same because that you're like floating in water.
Yeah. But at least you can block out all outside nonsense, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sounds like a hippie.
Well, besides these quarterbacks, there have been other free agency moves going on. A few I wanted to take the time to talk about was the Carolina Panthers. Well, we can get to that. So the Carolina Panthers, they've re-signed their center, Bradley Bozeman. He had a pretty solid year. They gave him a 3-year, $18 million. He's a center. No one,
he was solid on the Ravens. I know that's why they drafted center first round last year, replacing him.
Yeah, they brought in Hayden Hurst. I think it's a pretty smart move because that'll give them flexibility to move around Kyle Pitts because he is a unicorn and it is kind of a waste of his talents to lock him in as their inline tight end. You bring out Hayden Hurst, you have a lot more flexibility, and Hayden Hurst is pretty athletic himself. They also snatched up Von Bell. He's a very versatile safety, played for the Saints and the Bengals last year. He had 70-plus tackles, 4 picks. And then the last little cherry on top, they I don't know if the deals came out, but they are going to sign Miles Sanders to be their franchise running back.
Yes. I had the contract, but now I don't know where it is.
But while you're looking for that, I like those moves. They're still kind of in a rebuild, but the
4
NFC
years,
South,
$25 million.
I mean, that's just the market for running backs nowadays, unfortunately, which is crazy that the Giants are giving Saquon like 17 for 1 year, basically, I think, or 18 for 1 year, and the Carolina just got Miles Sanders 4 years, 25. But the NFC South is wide open. The Panthers have the number 1 overall pick, so they can have basically whatever quarterback they want. They re-signed Bozeman to keep their O-line decent. Bring in Miles Sanders, who just had a breakout year, was very he's always been an effective running back.
Here's my thing about I just want to say something about them signing Miles Sanders. I like Miles Sanders, but they had Dante Foreman play really well for them last year. Chicago got him for 1 year, $3 million. Why would you go out and pay Miles Sanders all that money? Not saying it's a ton. It's not a terrible contract, but the running back, like everybody knows you can find running backs nowadays.
I feel like they just want another marquee guy. Like, Sanders, had his best year last year, right? Yeah, they wanted to get 37 Christian McCaffrey. They're like, we want a top 10 talent. We don't want just any
Miles
guy.
Sanders can't catch the ball out of the backfield though. Like he's pretty one-dimensional. He was a good running back in our system behind the best O-line in the league. I still like him. I wish we could have kept him, but I'm just saying for the Panthers' sake. But.
Yeah, people for whatever reason just don't seem to like Foreman. He's kind of always bounced around the league. He's always been solid. Even look back in his Texans days. I think he's just penciled in as like a short yardage power back, and that's just how everyone sees him. That's what his market gets dictated as. also, if you just ask someone off the street, Foreman is kind of a nobody, and Miles Sanders is the Eagles' electric Super Bowl running back.
Fair.
And we want to say
it helps
we
put
want
butts in the seats too.
And we want to say that the NFL is full of all these smart people, but we've learned that historically that's not always the case.
This is true.
Yeah, the next team that's made a lot of signings, we talked about this a little bit last week, the Chicago Bears. They bring in both TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds, kind of 2+ linebackers to bolster their defense.
You trade Roquan Smith, who needs a super big contract coming up this year, and then you trade one guy and end up getting two.
Yeah, they signed Nate Davis from the Titans, who, when healthy, is
he's a guard,
a very good guard.
Yeah,
and they also brought in Robert Tonyan,
solid tight end
from the Packers. What that tells me is that it kind of goes against what I would do with Justin Fields, but they're going to be they have a defensive coach, so they're going to be a hard-nosed team. They're going to run the ball, have 2 tight ends. They're going to have 2 strong linebackers. They're going to probably both stay on the field much of every game, and it's just going to be every game, win or lose, they're going to try and turn it into just a full-out fight on the field. But
yeah, and they traded for DJ Moore, which was nice.
Oh yes, true. I forgot that, and they added DJ Moore in the trade, so
it's nice for Justin Fields. Got number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah, I think they've had a good offseason.
Yeah, they
Eberflus and crew.
They should be improved, and similar to like we're talking about the NFC South, the NFC North. It's not open, but like I wouldn't consider the Vikings elite, and Kirk Cousins is getting a little older. The Lions are a good team, not a great team, and if the Packers lose Rodgers, they kind of are going to potentially fall off the cliff.
So yeah, we'll see what happens when Jordan Love takes the reins.
I like Jordan Love. He's got a little bit of something there.
Yeah, Madden boy, you just like him from the Packers chats.
Yeah. He got me.
That's exactly what I was thinking
of. Another big signing. Oh, what were you saying?
No, move on.
Orlando Brown Jr. got picked up by the Cincinnati Bengals. Only a 4-year, $64 million deal, so obviously he was not as valuable as he thought. I'm sure he was probably hoping to get somewhere in the $100 million range. He's a very what's the word? I can't see it. This is my pronunciation falling apart. He's he's I can't say it. It's one of those words I can't say. Enigma. Yeah, he's all over the place because you talk to some people and they act like he's an elite left tackle, and you talk to like Chiefs fans and they're like, oh, he sucks. Well, he didn't want to take whatever the Chiefs were offering him. He didn't want to have the chance to play the rest of his career for the Chiefs and protect Patrick Mahomes and go to Super Bowls. So he's going to go to the Bengals, which again, hey, I'm not going to cry for him. He's going from the Chiefs to the Bengals, but I'm sure he did not get the payday he was hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, I am under the assumption that he's really good because I'm not going to say I watch every Chiefs game, but usually the people who watch their teams the most know the most.
Chiefs don't like
statistics. Yeah, the statistics can tell you one thing, and then the eyeball test can tell you another. And Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are one of the best quarterback coach combos in the NFL, and that will make offensive linemen look better than maybe they are. Not saying he's bad, but I think he's good enough to say it's a good signing for the Bengals. And the Chiefs now have lost both of their tackles this offseason, so they gotta fix that.
So the Patriots made a couple big signings. They got Mike Gesicki, Juju, I think James Robinson kind of got stiff last year. He came back from the injury. He was really good, especially fantasy wise in the first couple games against the Jags, and then, they kind of went all Anthony, and he got traded to the
dumb
Jets.
Signing, dumb player.
I think he had one game.
Overpaid.
He had one game with the Jets where he actually was productive because he got healthy scratched a bunch of times.
The only thing he's productive is being can't think of anything. Damn it! I had something good.
The other thing for the Patriots is they were able to trade away Jonnu Smith, kind of get out of that contract. I still think he's a very good player. He's just underutilized in New England,
not properly
and he's going to go. Well, he's with the Falcons too, so the Falcons are going to have Kyle Pitts, Hayden Hurst, and Jonnu Smith.
Wait, Hayden Hurst is back on the Falcons?
Unless I read that wrong.
Because he was on the Falcons and then went to the Bengals. Then you said the Panthers. You said the Panthers when we were talking about the Panthers.
No,
you're right. Panthers. I got it confused. Yeah, John Smith went to the Falcons. So
you got Johnny and Pitts.
Yeah, we were talking about Hayden Hurst going to the Panthers. I was thinking about the wrong team when I was
and
talking
that's where he
about
went
him.
after the Ravens. He was with the Falcons for 2 years or whatever.
Yep.
But I mean, with back to the Patriots, you got Hunter Henry, who was pretty productive, overall for them last year, over Jonnu, and then now you got Gesicki too. It's like a 2-headed freaking monster at tight end, and you know how Bill Belichick loves them tight ends. I mean, he tried it with Hunter Henry and Jonnu, it just didn't work out.
I still say with Mac Jones at the helm, I'm not super excited about the Patriots. Defense is going to be solid, and they're going to run the game, but they're going to run the ball, but I don't know. Speaking of the Patriots and Josh McDaniels, the Raiders have made a few big moves. Let me get to the Raiders real quick. They got Jimmy Garoppolo signed to a 3-year, $67 million deal. They brought in Marcus Epps from the Eagles, Jacoby Myers from the Patriots. They re-signed Jerry Tillery. But I guess one can make the argument that Jimmy G knows McDaniel's offense and can maybe, I'm not saying he's better than Derek Carr, but can maybe run the offense better. And
I feel like him and Derek Carr are at the same level. So,
did you guys hear about the Marcus Epps thing?
I was just looking at Marcus Epps signed with the Raiders too. What happened though?
So, did you know that the NFL has a performance-based pay program? They have a performance-based pay. I was reading this the other day at work. They have a performance-based pay program rewards players who outplay their salaries, and Marcus Epps got $880,000 for his play compared to what he made, and they rewarded him.
That's dope.
Was he on his rookie deal still?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I've heard of it, but I couldn't name any examples.
Yeah, including safety who NFL, late round pick and cashed in with the highest distribution of all eligible players. Marcus Epps received $880,000 from performance-based distribution for his performance in 2022. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Talk about his stuff.
Good for him.
I like to see how they grade it. Like if it's like a certain number, like for a defensive player, a certain number of tackles and all this. Like if you reach a certain benchmark, then on it's like an extra $100K per 10 tackles or whatever it is. Like
it's probably based more so on snaps, I bet.
True. If you're getting starter snaps,
But yeah, there's still a lot of moves ready to go, but I actually got to cut the show short. So that's going to do it for today's episode. This is No Interference. We are doing our free agency coverage. It's a rough day for me. We're your hosts, Westside, Big Sass, and the Bull. As usual, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed what you heard, give us a like, share, subscribe, drop a comment. You can follow us on social media. I always forget which corner compared to where I'm at, but we are on Instagram and Twitter at The NI Show. But thanks again, and adios.
See you later.
Peace.